And we're back with another episode of the Roundtable. I'm Ryan, he's Dom, and let's just get right into it. WWE Backlash was this past Saturday, and we got some questions coming out of it here. Not really sure, not really sure where a lot of stuff is going to be going. But one question, Dom, that both you and I have is, what are they going to be doing with Jacob Fatu after that main event? Because Jacob Fatu, and you had just a great analogy on this. That Jacob Fatu, they're just training that guy they're kind of showing that guy to be an absolute killer lately, just hitting everybody with that Tongan death grip and all that stuff. But you had an interesting angle on that I would love to kind of expand on. So first of all, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you? No, I was letting you set it up for the oops. First and foremost, good evening. Uh, I want to talk to all the fans out there about your boy all about Marvel, so I got my Punisher shirt on tonight. Um, the Punisher one last kill was pretty interesting. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews on that, but I enjoyed it. Probably gonna rewatch it again later this week. But back to our conversation, it was a lot of things online that I've seen, and one particular topic was uh the way that Jacob is moving right now. And obviously Jacob is the Samoan werewolf, he's unhinged, this and that, blah blah blah. Cool. But one thing I do love about the way they're doing Jacob is the fact that it puts me in the mind of a particular Samoan that was uh wreaking havoc on a particular superstar, a beloved superstar at that, Jeff Hardy. And this Samoan was Umanga.
Or
And
or as the great William Regal famously called them, Umanga.
yeah, yeah. Or how Nikki Bella called Stephanie Vicaro Stephanie Velcro.
But yeah, continue. I
But
don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
yeah, we won't go down that rabbit hole. So yes, everything about Jacob right now is definitely reminding me. And like I said before we started the show, it's a modern day Umanga. And
Totally.
I am not I'm not mad about that at all. What better way to pay tribute and pay homage to a manga than having Jacob um basically emulate the manga. Uh, Everything about him is giving me Umanga's vibes. I mean, he's brought back the death grip. He's hella athletic, and then just he can talk. I mean, manga really didn't talk on the mic like that, but Jacob is a fine talker on the mic. And
Yeah.
I'm loving whatever they're doing. I just love the fact that, we're back on Bloodline. I'm gonna say this each and every time on the podcast. I'm loving that we're back on this road of the Bloodline drama. And my brother, like I told you, um, in order to fight fire with fire, somebody gonna have to get on Jacob's level, and it's better be quick because he is ramshacking through all three OG members of the Bloodline. Now, I know I said this before we started talking, but I have two different versions we probably could go. One, I'm sticking with number one. Um, our good friend Jay Uso. I don't know what they're doing with Jay Uso right now, but I'm gonna need Jay to dig deep inside of his soul and pull my favorite version of Jay, the crash out Jay. Because if you don't pull that dog out of him, he's gonna get ate up by this Samoan werewolf that's off the rails. So I I mean to me that'd be awesome, awesome feud to see Jay like just being that dog that he was, that unhinged. Let me get him. Uh, this, that, and the third, and just going after Jacob. But this brainstorm that I just had, um, this guy name has been brought up every single time in this whole feud of 2026. And it makes me feel like when you talk about somebody's name each and every week, eventually they're gonna pop up and they're gonna get involved. So my thought process in this is that Solo might get involved. And I mean, to be honest, as much as they may feel towards each other, I mean, blood is blood, and the Usos are
Yeah.
Solo's brother. So, and I mean, who was more dangerous than a crash out Jay, the quiet enforcer, Solo?
The quiet assassin, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously he's not quiet anymore. But like,
No.
I mean, Solo is still Solo at the end of the day, and I mean, if they go that route and get Solo back on the bloodline, is MFTs.
That's scary. That's a little scary.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, uh, it's gonna be a numbers game. So if Solo and what's the tall one's name?
Hikaleo,
Yeah,
or we call
him
him Talatonga.
Talatonga. Yes.
I'd
Uh,
rather not call him that, but I've only
yeah.
now begrudgingly started calling Walter Gunther.
But yeah, I them two for sure I can see, but I can't see where they're going with Tomatonga. I can't see him joining with Solo on another group. I feel as though, and you pointed this out before we got on the show. Excuse me. Um, Royce Keys has been getting really involved in Jacob's business. Oh, well, not even Jacob's business. He's been like, giving them inspirational quotes,
Right.
like "I got your back. I'm here for you." This and that, and third. So, right, right now, Jacob's by himself.
Yep.
And when Roman and the Usos start, you know, playing the numbers game, who potentially might get involved? Royce. Then you bring Solo into the business. Solo been trying to get Royce on with him, but now he joins Jacob. You know, your enemy is my enemy. Maybe Solo gets to talking to Roman again. I mean, he already been mentioned, been called, saying that he's acting like Roman. So,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, what comes to mind as as you're saying that is um it's like the whole I'm forgetting what writing trick it is, but it's like the whole thing where if you show a sword in act one of a play, you got to use it by act three. It almost kind of feels like yeah, Chekhov sword, I think is what it's called.
Hmm.
Um, but I kind of feel like they're doing that with Solo. I kind of feel like they're doing that with Solo because you don't keep mentioning somebody's name and just not expect that they will show up to raise hell. I mean, my guy Joe Hendry is a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
But obviously Joe Hendry is a different kind of character. But my point is that he keeps showing up and like he keeps getting mentioned, and eventually he's just going to show up to, to to kind of wreck shop on it. But I think there's a like I kind of feel like the more that I see of putting Royce Keys and Jacob Fatu together. Um, Almost feels like it just makes too much sense because Royce Keys, his character, they're kind of building him up as being, kind of coming up from the streets, coming up from kind of making a name, like a positive name for himself. Whereas Jacob Fatu did prison time for some violent crimes. And you've got, also kind of came from like similar, like grew up from similar circumstances. So I kind of feel like with that, there's at least some fire there because there's definitely a lot of smoke.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely it's all gas, no break with it. So
It's funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I saw, and I shared it with you, but I saw a thing where it was a tweet that says, "Gas prices are so high, Jacob Fatu start to use his brakes."
you weren't using the Monday night. That's for
No,
darn
I don't
sure.
know. It wasn't using a Monday night. Man,
No gas. I mean, no
yeah.
breaks, no breaks at all. Definitely didn't break on that last spot.
Jeez. But you kind of your theory about kind of modeling his character after Umaga is just beautiful to me because Umaga just, was just an unhinged killer when he was right. You know what I mean? He was just an unhinged killer when he was right. And I really do feel like that when Jacob Fatu was right, he's just that unhinged killer kind of character. And I feel like if they can capitalize on that, if they can capitalize on just that energy that they have with that, I really think the sky's the limit because, with the exception of his random Royal Rumble appearance, they've done jack squat with Royce Keys so far.
I mean, yeah, just I, I have high hopes because the fact that he won the
No,
Andre
I do too.
the Giant, yeah, by winning that, I mean, it's hit or miss, but the last people that have won it recently in recent memory is Jey Uso. Um, I'm about to say Apollo Crews, excuse me. Uh, Carmelo Hayes,
Right.
and one other particular person that won it recently. And they done something with, but I mean, those two names alone, right there, are carrying weight within winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So I can see Royce being used well if they do use his character well, but
Right.
that's a big if. Because I mean, how many hit? I mean, how many hit or misses TKO has had in recent time? I can think quite a few.
Way more misses lately.
Big big whiffs.
Another question before we move on. Another question that's kind of eating at me a little bit, especially after this past weekend. And I'm Team Jacob all the way. I think the guy is just a phenomenal character, phenomenal talent. I don't know if he needs to be in the title scene though. I don't know if he needs to be in that world title scene. Do you think he stays there? Do you think he kind of stays in that upper echelon of the world title scene? Or do you think he just kind of goes back to like not goes back to being kind of that more secondary background character, um, but like kind of that next rung up? Still makes money, still puts on great matches, still just athletic as hell, but not quite to that level.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it goes back to that statement I made in recent episodes about who makes that title. If Roman would have had the undisputed title, I feel like you would have said that about Jacob with the undisputed title versus the world title.
Right.
But now you take somebody like a Roman and you give him the world title. Now that undisputed title looks kind of like easily obtainable more than the world title, if that makes any sense.
No, it
Like,
does. Yeah.
because, when people were feuding over the world title, to me, in my eyes, it was more, I mean, not more obtainable, but like basically, like people wanted the world title more than they wanted the undisputed title with Cody because of like they could do all this, build Cody up to be super Cena, super Cody, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, it's just like Cody, you're beatable. You are beatable. You can be beat. It's just, and then the way they build Cody's character up is kind of, I won't say kind of, but he's somewhat flawed in a sense where part of me felt like Kevin Owens should have beat Cody, but he didn't. Uh, Hell, if Sami Zayn was to go for the title, I feel like he had a possibility of beating Cody. Um, we've seen Drew beat him. Uh, who else was like Randy should have won. I don't know. I mean, that was I mean, basically, if you want to say TKO was all over that, that was TKO all over that because it would have been Triple H or Old Man. Randy would have had the title. Randy be walking around talking about, you know, I done achieved 15 and I don't plan on, slowing down anytime soon. But unfortunately, we got TKO. So now we got Cody
Right.
still being champ. And it took Gunther to leave Raw and go to SmackDown to make it interesting over there.
Yeah.
Like the dynamics just shifted. Like obviously from Roman to SmackDown, I mean from SmackDown to Raw shifted. But then when you move a piece like Gunther, it shifts to SmackDown as far as like, okay, now I'm interested. Now I'm invested in who's trying to go for the undisputed title. And then it's sad because obviously Gunther's a heel, but I wouldn't be sad if Gunther was to win that title
Absolutely not.
because now
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
something fresh. It's something like Cody goes back to being a chaser, but now if you're going to make Cody a chaser, and we've been saying this forever, he works better as a chaser. Yes, granted, this man is a three-time champion now. Okay, let's not forget that part. He's a three-time champion. It took him however long to become a champion. Now all of a sudden he just winning titles like that. Come on. If Cody does go for number 4, okay, Cody better win it in a different type of persona. I don't want to see the old cookie cutter kiss babies on the forehead. Let's have what it was, American whiskey or whatever it is. Let's have American whiskey, me and your dad. I got my nice three-piece suit on, holding the title like it's a book. Doing the
Don't forget the
whoa,
watch chain.
and don't forget the watch chain. I don't want that Cody. I want Cody from whatever indie show he was in, or just Cody with black hair and a different attitude. I don't want this Boy Scout Cody. That I want this Cody that's been shown recently with this. I'm quarterback one. I'm this. I'm that. Cool. We get that. But how is it that you're sitting here and saying I'm quarterback one and this and that third, and we don't see it? We don't believe that. Roman is quarterback one. We're tuning in to Raw with the excitement and the just like overall thrill of like what's going to happen next on Raw. We turn to SmackDown. It's just like okay, it's like hopefully Rhea gets somebody good to feud with, or you know, I mean, Trick, Trick Williams ended SmackDown. Okay, I ain't even got to go
Trick
further than that.
Williams, who has been on the main roster for a minute and a half.
For a minute and a half, has the U.S. title, not the undisputed title, not the title that the quarterback one has. Mr. Quarterback one opened the show. He didn't finish the show. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a handful of times Roman came in, did his thing, and left, or whatever the case may be. But this whole show was still surrounding Roman. Like Roman didn't even have to end the show, but the storyline that Roman is involved in ended the show. You have Cody, who's the champion, start the show, but he don't end the show.
A funeral for a
A
gingerbread man
gingerbread.
costume.
And it literally came out of Sami Zayn's mouth. He said, "What has happened to the sacredness of ending a show? This is supposed to be the creme de la creme. When you end a show, you are, you know, on the precedence of being the guy. Like you basically, like he was saying all this to say like this is sacred. You just don't end the show like this with a gingerbread man. You end the show either fighting, promo, something. But come on, people, wake up. Trick Williams ended SmackDown as the U.S. champion, not quarterback one.
The mid card championship, the secondary title. That that really does say. I think that really says a lot. I think that really says a lot. Now, I think the question that comes to mind with that is, do you think there's any chance in hell Cody goes over Gunther? Do you
I
think
would
he goes over? Not the question of do you think he goes over? Not the no, not the question. Do you think he should go over? Do you think he actually does go over? Because I think the worry that I have is that they're still going to try to do the whole John Cena 2010 version with with Cody Rhodes, and the fans are already starting to turn on him.
I'm gonna be that brother that throws a rubber chicken in the ring. Okay.
Okay.
Like I, I'm still with the prediction of what I had at WrestleMania. Like Cody don't leave that ring unless he turns heel or he loses. I mean, like, Gunther held the Intercontinental title 666 days. Gunther had the Intercontinental title on the same level as Roman had that undisputed title. Roman was what 1,300 days, and like I seriously thought that Gunther was really going to have that title just about as long as Roman had the undisputed title. That's the same level, right? So, and then for him to lose the IC title, but not shortly after that, get the world title. Like
Yeah.
this man is on the precedent of like one of the underrated goats of WWE because this man never puts on anything below a 3-star match. It's always 5 or 4, right?
Right.
He's a phenomenal heel, like phenomenal. I can't even see this man being a babyface at this point. Maybe
Oh,
a
hell
anti
no.
babyface, like an anti babyface, like a mid, like neutral, but like his
Right.
his damage is being a heel. So SmackDown needs this, right? To me, SmackDown needs this.
Absolutely.
And then you shortly after that Like eventually, when we get to that point, you know, Trick becomes babyface, and then Trick becomes babyface. Sky's the limit for him to get the title off of Gunther. Or if Cody finally becomes a heel, get it off of Cody. Like I'm starting to see the dynamic shift a little bit in SmackDown, and I can't believe TKO can't see this, but like people are tired of Cody. Respectfully, we're tired of Cody. We still
Right.
love Cody. He's doing an excellent job as quarterback one, but we need him to be a heel. You got so many different. It's crazy because it's like, all right, Randy's a heel, but we love him, so he's not really a heel. He's Randy basically. Roman's a
Right.
heel or not. You know, Roman's basically Roman. I mean, we love him for who he is. Uh, who is Trick? Trick is a heel, but that man's so over that you think he's a babyface. And then Sammy is like it's crazy that Sammy was the underdog or whatever, but he quickly turned into a heel, and it wasn't even what he did or what he said. It's just the fact that people love Trick so much that they turned Sammy a heel. So like,
Which is wild because Sami Zayn is like the ultimate, like his history is like the ultimate kind of underdog.
yeah, like the relatable guy you could have a beer with this, that, and third, and like he had his story where he wanted to tell his son like I'm a champion now or whatever. But now we like kick that to the curb. We just say, hey brother, now you good. We would trick, whoop that trick. Oh, your son wants you
Let's
to win the
talk
title,
about it.
whoop that trick. Whooping your trick tail. Like
All right, I'm going to throw another twist in that.
okay,
Because as you were talking, I just got this, I kind of got this image that, um, like so many from like, from like the Attitude era
mhm,
towards like the ruthless aggression. So from like 98 through about 2005. Okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin was one of the most popular characters of all time. But this was also a cursing, middle finger raising, beer drinking redneck from South Texas.
mhm,
A guy who should be a heel, but he wasn't.
yeah,
Um, so wrestling fans really, I think, appreciate gray characters like that. And the more that I'm thinking about it, the more that I start to see, um, my apologies that my video was kind of cut out here. Um, but the more that I see out of Gunther, the more that I'm starting to see him as the next Kurt Angle. And I'll tell you why. Their wrestling styles are very different. Okay,
yeah,
but but Kurt Angle never, I think, like he was the most hated when he was playing a goody two shoes heel. When he was at his best was when he was that absolute psycho killer.
mhm,
Gunther is that same type of character. He's the guy that can go in and put in a 5-star match with, he carried Pat McAfee to a passable match last year. Pat freaking McAfee to a passable match last year. Gunther, I'm sorry, Walter, I know that's your name, but Gunther is that guy. And I would be stunned. I would be absolutely stunned if they put if they put him over. If they put him over Cody, you got to do like a redemption angle. But Cody can't go. If Cody goes over, it cannot be clean.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. I've been telling you that since WrestleMania. Like, you can't. I mean, the garbage that was that match. Two options should have happened. I mean, two things should have happened. Either Cody go heel or Randy wins. We got neither one. And it's like getting a stale sub from Subway. You go to Subway and get the same old sub that you want, right? 99 an hour. The mine is sweet onion chicken teriyaki, right? Go there, get it fresh, starting to like, it's my sandwich. I love it. Then
Sure.
eventually I want something different. And then all it takes is that one time. I get the sub, it tastes horrible, makes me want something different. That's what Cody's at right now. You won, you finished your story. We went a whole year with you having that title. We lost Kevin Owens for it. Drew had to lose twice and then finally get it just because y'all was overseas and he was in his hometown, homeland or whatever. He wins it just to do a tour. Then he loses it shortly after that just for you to give us what we wanted with Randy and Cody, but not what we wanted. And the fact that you had to insert Pat McAfee's trying to keep this Pat McAfee's tail in that freaking match that he had no business being in. You could have let them two alone. They both were chefs. They don't need assistants. They don't need freaking extra whatever sauce put on it. They just need Randy versus Cody, teacher versus student. Um, the Viper versus American Nightmare. But no, 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 no. TKO had to put their grummy hands on something that didn't. You see what happened with Roman is in CM Punk, right? Nothing. You let them two go at it alone.
And it
No,
was the match of the weekend, and it wasn't even close.
it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. The best way you possibly could have ended a show. No shenanigans. No, nothing. It was them two going
No,
at it. Ref didn't get
no,
injured
no
at all in
interference,
that
no
match.
goofy finishes. Yeah.
No goofy finishes, nothing. Straight up. We like to call it Biggie. Two, well, I mean, like CM Punk ain't no big meaty man, but two big meaty man slapping me. They was definitely doing it. It was definitely a slobber knocker like JR love famously like to call it.
Yeah.
And we loved
Yeah.
every second of it.
You know, from the presentation, I mean, I still can't get over that piano player that played Roman out. I still can't
Oh
get
my
over
God.
that guy.
And I can't even get the chills off my body of seeing like CM Punk come out with that jacket on. It's quiet. Right. Well, first of all, he came out to his Ring of Honor. I've
Hmm.
never heard it, but I've heard I heard it that night. I was like, okay, cool. They Michael Cole uh always one of the goats. He called it out about that. Like, they pointed stuff, they started pointing stuff out to us at home to let us know, okay, this is that, and then boom, the song stopped, right? He walks
Right.
out, you see the crowd, it's dark, behind him. And then he does it's clobbering time, and then boom, his song comes on.
Boom, cult of personality right there. The whole presentation of that match was gold.
It was like a movie.
It was.
It was like a movie. It was like like a Rocky movie, right? Rocky fighting that Russian to get revenge on him killing Apollo. Uh the Terminator, right? He coming.
Hmm.
You think he's knocked down. He's coming from the shadows. Matter of fact, we love to do this on the show. Star Wars. What's the most infamous scene of all time? Uh, the rebellion or whatever is sitting there, right behind the door, waiting on somebody to come through that door. They get to shooting. smoke, right? All of a sudden you see that lightsaber just come straight down. It's red. It's Darth Vader. Chills, right? That
Yeah,
is what that match was. I'm getting chills now just even thinking about it still. Because that's how
yeah.
great that match was.
And when pro wrestling is right, when pro wrestling is, righteous and right, that's what it can be. It can just be cinematic. It just, it's, as I have said before, pro wrestling is just simply storytelling with your bodies. But when it's right, when it is right, it can be absolutely cinematic. Think what you want about Hulk Hogan, but what's one of the most famous pictures in wrestling history? The stare down with him and Andre the Giant. That was cinematic. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, Shawn Michaels coming down on the zip line for that Iron Man match. Um, when pro wrestling hits right, it's cinematic. And they just they they just made it clean. They just made it clean. It was a brutal match. It was a nasty match, but it was clean. It was just two pros going out there,
You let the story,
giving the fans everything.
you let the story basically tell tell it. I mean, we knew what their feud was about leading up to that match. So with that being said, that was all the ingredients put into a bowl, and then the match basically made the meal.
Yeah, completely, completely. One more note before we move on to our last topic. You brought up Michael Cole. Just want to remind our listeners that he blocked me on Twitter, and I don't know why.
Shoot.
I don't know. I don't know. That's just one of the great mysteries of life, I think.
I think they do that. They just randomly block people, and I guess I mean I don't know.
Yeah,
Social media for you, I guess.
yeah. So exactly, exactly. Well, I think the last thing that before we go home here, another big news story that came out of Backlash was Mr. Cena coming out and announcing the John Cena Classic. Now, the John Cena class, I think we don't really know at this point what it's going to look like, but it's going to be main roster against NXT. And there's going to be, for reasons I'm not quite sure of, there's going to be interactive voting for this, and I don't really understand why, but at the same time, I really think this is a great opportunity to give some of these new stars the rub. Like this guy, like this guy is as a newcomer on NXT. Mason Rook is his WWE name. His slogan, he's bad, he's big, he's bad, he'll body slam your dad. But he's just this big, kind of this big, kind of roughneck looking guy.
Right.
Would he have ever, and I'm gonna, stop talking here in a second, but would he have ever um gotten gotten the rub when the old man was still in charge? No, because he didn't look like
No,
a bodybuilder.
no.
Um, but he's just a like there's real potential with him, and I know I know he's green as hell, but like there's real potential with him. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's there's some real potential on this John Cena Invitational thing.
I I am 1,000% behind you on that. I the feeling I get from this is the feeling I get from like the May Young Classic, right? Just think about all the greats currently right now that's on in the main roster from that tournament. Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, uh, um, Kyrie Zane. I
Live.
mean, like Liv, yeah, Liv, of course. So I am all for this tournament. Um, why not instead of the John Cena Classic? I'm not feeling the JCC, but why not name it My Time Is Now? Just basically name it what you named it with John Cena's retirement tour. Just keep that going on and do what you did from that tour because like that tour made like Open Femi was already Open Femi, but I feel like that tournament definitely helped. Um, also, uh, our guy Carmelo Hayes, right? That tournament helped him too.
Right.
Like his match with Gunther.
Totally.
I mean, both of them are phenomenal, and Gunther obviously is gonna put over people. But how do you make somebody look that great and they still lose? It's mind blowing to me. Like they lose, but they still was just as best as they could be during the match. So was it really a loss? No, really. If you think about it for the long term goals. So this is a perfect opportunity for this particular tournament to be that, to help bring up new talent, to help establish new talent in households, and then also kind of rebuild and repolish some talent that we know that haven't been pushed like they should have. Like a Rusev, like a Finn, like I'm just throwing names out there, Dom, JD, whatever the case may be, but like whoever you want to throw in there who needs the reboot button, they can be thrown in there. So the only gripe I have is the whole fan involvement in the tournament. I'm all for like
Yeah.
voting who you want to be in the tournament, but like far as like winning the tournament or winning the match, I guess. So me and you have a match. We put on a 5-star match. Both of us doing great. I carried the match the entire time, or almost the entire time, but yet the crowd feels like you know they want to vote you. So like as much gripe we have about the IWC, we are behind each other in certain things, and the other things it's total chaos. And I feel, excuse me, I feel like it's gonna be total chaos with this tournament. Not even gonna lie.
I know that the announcement didn't really do much for just what in the world what in the world we're about to go out there and watch. I feel like the announcement left a lot to be desired, left a not like a lot to the imagination. And I feel like it left a lot of unanswered questions, like when is it gonna be?
Yeah,
How is it gonna climax?
are we doing it like week in and week out, the brackets to build up to the final four at like a PLE or something, or is this its
Right.
own entity of a PLE or like? And if it is this own entity of a PLE, please God, do not make it anything like Great Balls of Fire or Wrestlepalooza or whatever that crap was they want to call it. But like I said, this has the potential to be something that I mean elevates WWE. Right?
Completely.
Because obviously it's not even a seesaw. It's really just Raw. SmackDown is kind of like, and then you don't want to end the week on a eh. You want it to carry into the weekend or carry into another PLE
Right.
or whatever. But it's so lopsided nowadays where I'm looking forward to the start of the week, but when it gets to the end of the week, I mean, I could turn on live. I mean, on Patrol Live, or I could watch the basketball or baseball or hockey or something, or a movie or something. I don't. It's getting to a point where we were. I mean, really shortly before we started our pod, it was like one of those like, oh man, SmackDown. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
But you know the most ridiculous thing is that the gingerbread man actually popped a rating.
Yeah,
I think there was like 1.5 million people watched that whole ridiculous thing. I wasn't
right,
one of them, by the way. I turned it off after the last match, but
right. I watched that. I watched it. I ain't gonna lie. I watched it. You know why I watched it? Because it was entertaining. It was funny. It was everything it
yeah,
was supposed to be, and then some more. Because it's Trick freaking Williams. He's one of the hottest superstars in WWE. That's where the undisputed champion is supposed to end the show at. The most interesting storyline, and that's another thing. Right. Roman Reigns getting demolished by Jacob Fatu ended the show. The storyline
mhm.
of Bloodliners it finished the show. The story of a gingerbread man dying, a fake gingerbread man dying on SmackDown ended SmackDown. If that ain't a lopsided, like
The
what?
go home show before a pay-per-view. The go home show before a freaking pay-per-view. Make it make sense.
That's what I'm saying. The shift is it got either we got to have a draft or we got to have some type of change because the way it's going for SmackDown is not looking too great until Gunther gets the belt, and then maybe you know it changes. But until now, I mean, I don't see nothing
Even that's not a
change.
given. Yeah, and even that's not even a given at this point.
It's not even a given. Yeah, we can sit here all day long and puff our chests out and be like, yeah, Gunther deserve it. Gunther get this. Gunther did get it. But who's to say Cody don't win that belt and go on SmackDown again and be like, oh, quarterback one. I told y'all, blah blah blah. Like, come on, bro. Because at the end of the day, too, think about this. Randy's still in the wings.
Where
Randy's
has
still
Randy
waiting on his
been? He has
rematch.
not shown up at all since WrestleMania.
A whole freaking month. And we still haven't seen Randy. Just about a whole month. We getting close.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I would love to see Randy get the belt off of Gunther too. But like Randy should have had gotten 15. If Randy don't break 14 and be sole third place, I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash out. I'm sending an email. It's gonna be a very long email. Very long. But I mean, is he gonna read it? No, they're not.
No, of
And
course
then,
not.
oh,
But
one
I'm not
interesting thing
convinced. Go ahead.
that I did see on social media, Nick Khan or somebody said, oh, the fans don't dictate the show. Oh, we don't dictate the show. Oh, so so basically, if we just said, or if we collectively just said, you know what, this ain't hitting no more. I'm gonna go watch AEW. I'm gonna start watching TNA. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna stop buying WWE product and talk about WWE and talk about AEW. Then who dictates the show? Who shows up for the show?
He really said that?
Yeah, it came out. I think it was Nick Khan. I think he
Nick
said.
Khan
I
really
think
had the
Nick. He had the audacity. He had the gall to say that you know the fans don't dictate storylines or whatever. Like we gonna go well we whatever we feel like going to work. And I'm like, are you that delusional? Are you that crazy? Like, if we just all collectively was like, you know what, bump WWE. If that's how they feel in TKO, bump them. But like, and truly though, that's how they feel. Because I feel like that's how they feel. They just sit there and they see all the complaints and see this, see that, but they still looking at those numbers. See if those numbers start changing. If those numbers drastically change, oh, it'd be different.
Mm.
But
The things I could say about that, the things that I could say about that might get this podcast kicked off of YouTube.
yeah,
But I'll leave you with this. If Nick Khan doesn't think that fans can control storylines, I want him to place a call to a gentleman named Brian Danielson. Brian Danielson, back in 2014, closed WrestleMania 30, winning that title because the fans put him there. That was 12 years ago. The fans put him there.
fans can't change the storyline. What? Tell me who changed Brock versus Roman.
If the fans can't change the storyline, why is Pat McAfee completely removing himself from WWE? Because that
And
segment
Jelly
went
Roll.
over like a wet fart. And Jelly Roll, yeah.
We were supposed to get a tag team match at Backlash. I
We
guess we
were,
never
yeah.
got that tag team match.
Oh boy. Well, that's a nice positive note to end the episode on.
It's that
Um,
50. It's that 50%. It's that 50% that make his brain think like that. He got
yeah,
that 50% increase, and now he's just on top of the world. Everybody got a pay raise, but you gonna sit here and tell us that we don't dictate stuff. We don't dictate storylines. We don't dictate the product that we watch. This is what we watch. This is what we feed your pockets with. So you're telling us that if we don't like it, we still have to stomach it. That's crazy.
that's complete. It's delusional, is what it is.
It's
It's
delusional.
delusional. Yeah, it's delusional is what it is because if we stop buying tickets, if we stop subscribing to ESPN, if we stop buying t-shirts and, and action figures and whatever, oh, things might change then. Nick Khan is out of his mind. Oh, God, don't. Oh, oh,
He's the one that
I
got
wish
to
I had.
sniffing that white out for too long.
Say no more on that. Man, good. You want to do this again next week? Talk a little Saturday night's main event next week?
Looking forward to it. I'm gonna have I'm gonna be ready for my boys, the Street Profit, to go and get that title off. God, I hope they get that title. Oh, I'm so sick of him holding that belt like
Well, it took until the end of the show before you started railing on Logan Paul and the way he held his belt.
that.
So
I just can't
I'm
get
proud of you,
over it.
Dom. I'm proud of you.
He holds the mic like that, and then like, bro, come on. Like,
Oh
can we
boy.
not make them? Can we not make them relevant? Can we just move on from division? It's not even like. Can we stop calling them division? Can we just be Braun Breaker and that's it? Like, stop with them two being vision. They are not division. We don't vision them doing anything.
But you want to do this again next week?
Yes, yes, my brother, because
All
I'm ready
right,
for
all
it to
right. I'm
crash
trying
out.
to wrap this up before you crash out
Yeah,
or
yeah.
before you crash out again. All right, guys. Well, another episode of the Roundtable is in the books. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. You can follow us on social media, and you can follow us and check us out next week. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Thank you for listening. Until we eat again, take care and so long for now.